Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. I'm your teacher Naveed Anjum Naveed with another lesson of grammar. Our today's topic is sentence. Dear students, most of the things that we have learned so far and that we'll be learning in future are evaluated in the framework of sentence. So understanding sentence structure, its parts, and basic sentence patterns can be extremely important. So today's lesson is also very important for all of you. So let's begin with the definition. A sentence is a meaningful combination of words conveying some complete message, idea, or thought. There are two important aspects of this definition of sentence. One, it should be a meaningful combination of words. And the other, it must convey a complete message, idea, or thought. Both these conditions are essential for a combination of words to be sentence. Let's have examples. We'll look at these examples from both angles. Let's have the first example. Farkhanda joined army in 2007. Is this combination of words meaningful? Yes, it is. Now, does it convey a complete message? Yes, it does. So we'll call it a sentence. Let's look at the next example. Hot, nicely deposit collective insects India. Does it make sense? No, it doesn't. It's like Narendra Modi's India. Doesn't make any sense at all. So it's not a sentence. My mother wrote 3 excellent stories. Is it meaningful? Yes, it is. Does it convey a complete message? Yes, it does. So it's a sentence. Look at the next example. Behind the mud wall. Now this combination of words is meaningful, but the meaning is incomplete. That's why we won't call it a sentence. The woman noticed. Again, it's a meaningful combination of words, but the meaning or the sense is incomplete. The question comes to your mind, what did the woman notice? This verb noticed or notice is a transitive verb, and it must have its object to make complete sense. Since the sense is incomplete, we will not consider this combination of words a sentence. The next example, your father will not come back today. Does it make complete sense? Oh yes, it does. And it's a meaningful combination of words, hence a sentence. The next sentence, do I look like a fool? Don't say yes. But it is a meaningful combination of words and it conveys a complete message. So it's a sentence. Before she could get out of the car. Again, it's a meaningful combination of words, but it doesn't convey complete message or idea or thought. Because again, the question comes to your mind, what happened before she could get out of the car? The actual thing the speaker or the writer wanted to convey is missing. That's why the sense is incomplete and we cannot consider this combination of words a sentence. This is how we'll judge combinations of words and we'll declare them a complete or an incomplete sentence. Basically, when it's an incomplete sentence, it's not a sentence at all. It does not fulfill the requirement of a combination of words to be declared a sentence. The combination of words must be meaningful and it must convey a complete sense, idea, or thought. And now the components of a sentence. The first component or part is subject. Subject is the person or thing about which the sentence is. As a teacher, I've noticed that there is a problem with the way subject and verb are taught, at least at some of our public schools at elementary level, because when students are asked in classes what the subject or the verb is, they say that subject is the doer of the action and verb is a word which shows action. At best, these definitions are incomplete. Why? Judging by these definitions, sentences like I am a teacher, you are students, she is happy, can't be put anywhere. In these sentences, no action is taking place and subject is doing nothing. So, if subject is the doer of the action and verb is the word that shows action in a sentence, what about the subjects and verbs of these sentences? We must remember that no sentence is possible without a subject and a verb. So, I personally think that the concept of subject and verb should be given completely and the right way right in the start, because it becomes difficult at a later stage to de-learn the concepts that you've learned incompletely or wrongly and relearn them. It's more difficult, way more difficult. Now let's have some examples of subject. My friend makes model planes. What is this sentence about? Friend. So friend is the subject of the sentence. We admit that subject is the doer of the action when there is an action in the sentence. Subject can be the doer of the action with a condition that the sentence must contain a verb where an action is taking place. So over here, of course, in this sentence, your subject is doing something. It makes. Well, let's look at the next example. Ahmed lives in Islamabad. Again, Ahmed does something, and this sentence is about Ahmed. So Ahmed is also the subject. We are not calling friend and Ahmed subjects of these sentences because they are doing something, but because these sentences are about friend and Ahmed. Remember this thing. This is the difference between the older concept or the incomplete concept and the complete concept and the correct concept. Look at the next examples. You are a student. This sentence is about you. So that's the subject. And you see, the subject in this sentence is doing nothing, yet we'll call it subject. Look at the next sentence. Cars are very expensive. Again, in this sentence, the subject is doing nothing. And we have highlighted this word cars with a yellow font because it's the subject of the sentence, and simply because this sentence is about cars. So we are calling cars and you the subjects of these sentences, not because they are doing anything, they are doing nothing. We are calling them subjects because these sentences are about them. So this definition is actually complete. Every kind of subject fits into this definition. So learn the correct concept that subject is the person or thing about which the sentence is. Next is predicate. A sentence can be divided into two basic parts. Number one, the person or thing about which the sentence is. That's called the subject of the sentence. And number two, the information that we are given about that subject in the sentence. Whatever we are told about the subject in the sentence, that's called predicate. Predicate is what we are told about the subject in a sentence. It usually starts after the subject. Let's have a few examples. Munib has brought some fast food. Now, what is this sentence about? It's about Munib. So Munib is the subject. And what have we been told about Munib in this sentence? Has brought some fast food. The rest of the sentence that starts after the subject is the predicate. My brother works for a great businessman. Now, who is this sentence about? My brother. And what's the information that we are given in this sentence about my brother? Works for a great businessman. So this part of the sentence that starts just after the subject is predicate. Let's further explore this predicate. The first thing that we'll talk about is verb. A verb indicates the action or state of the subject in a sentence. We have mentioned in our previous lessons that in every sentence, somebody or something either does something or is something. That somebody or something is the subject of the sentence, and the word that shows us what the subject does or is the verb. The verbs which indicate what the subject does are the words which show action of the subject. They are the action verbs. And the verbs which indicate what the subject is They are the verbs of state. We call them linking verbs as well. Let's have examples. The child reads a poem. This sentence is about child. So child is the subject. Reads is the word which indicates what the child does. So it's a verb and an action verb. The next example, the baby is crawling. This sentence is about baby and the baby is doing something. It's crawling. So crawling is the verb and it's also showing action of the subject. The next example, the man was very happy. This sentence is about man. Man is the subject. Is the man doing something? No. The man is or was. This word was is indicating the state of the subject in this sentence. There is no action taking place here. Was simply indicates the state or the condition of the subject. This verb is different from the first two examples. This is what we call the verb of state or linking verb. Look at the next example. She is a doctor. Very similar examples. Example number 3 and 4 are very similar. There is the difference of tense or time only. This sentence is about she. She is the subject and she is doing nothing. This verb is indicates the state of the subject. So was and is fall into the same category. We call them linking verbs. These are the verbs which indicate the state of the subject. Reads and crawling are different. They indicate the action of the subject. And there is a difference between these two as well. Reads and crawling have a mutual difference as well. Look at them carefully. Reads has got an object. Crawling is without an object. Reads is a transitive verb and crawling is an intransitive verb. The action verbs in English language are of two major types, transitive and intransitive. A transitive verb requires an object to make complete sense and an intransitive verb can make complete sense without an object. So reads and crawling both are main verbs, action verbs. They are showing the action of the subject. One of them has got an object as well. The other one is without an object. Was and is. They are both linking verbs. They are indicating the state of the subject in these sentences. Next is object of verb. Object of a verb is the thing or person on which the action is being performed. We have talked at length about objects of all kinds in our lesson on rules of nouns in sentences. That's lesson number 4. If you want to learn about objects in detail, then go through that lesson once again. I'll recommend that for you. Over here, we are going to be brief. Let's have a few examples. He is flying kites. We have already learned the method to identify objects of verbs in sentences. We'll be framing what or whom questions using the verb in the sentence. What's the verb in this sentence? It's flying. He is the subject. Flying is the verb. So what is he flying? Kites. Now this kites answers the what question? It's the object of verb flying. And even if you look at the sentence directly and ask yourself, what is this action of flying being performed on? The answer will be kites. So it takes a little bit of common sense also to identify objects of verbs. Look at the next example. His mother baked the cake. Mother subject, baked verb. What did she bake? Cake. So cake is the object of baked. This action of baking was performed on cake. Asif watched a movie. Asif is the subject. What did he do? He watched. And what did he watch? The what question? The answer is movie. This action of watching was performed on movie. So movie is the object of verb watched. This is how we identify objects of verbs. And objects of verbs are important components of sentences. And now complement. It's also called subjective complement because it tells us something about the subject of the sentence. And complement means something that completes something else. And this is the function these complements have in these sentences. Let's define a complement first. What comes after a linking verb is called subjective complement or just complement. It's usually a noun or adjective. These linking verbs are also called verbs of incomplete predication because a sentence is not complete with a linking verb alone. A linking verb must be followed by something else to make the sentence complete and meaningful. That's why whatever comes after the linking verb, because its function is to complete, so we call it complement. Let's have a few examples. Sultan is my friend. Sultan is the subject. Is linking verb, but the sentence will be incomplete after is. If I say Sultan is full stop, it will not be a sentence. My friend is completing it, and my friend is about Sultan. Sultan is the subject. So my friend, it's about the subject and it's completing, hence subjective complement. Look at the next sentence. Alina is intelligent. Alina is the subject of the sentence. Is linking verb and intelligent complement. And look at the difference between these two words. Friend is a noun and intelligent is adjective. So adjectives and nouns both can be used as complements in sentences. Look at the next example. It was he who killed your dog. Over here, it is the subject, was linking verb, and he complement. It's a pronoun. And pronouns can play all the roles played by nouns in sentences. They can be used in place of nouns. So complements are basically the parts of the sentence that come after linking verb to complete the sentence. And they must come after linking verbs. They don't come after main or action verbs. Based on the types of verbs used in them, sentences in English language have got three basic patterns. Let's take a brief look at them. Salman sells milk. The subject in this sentence is Salman. The verb is sells. Sells is an action verb, a main verb. What does Salman sell? Milk. The answer to what question is milk. This action of selling is being performed on milk. So sells is a transitive verb as well. It's a main verb, action verb, and a transitive verb. And when your sentence has got a transitive verb in it, the basic pattern of that sentence is SVO, subject, verb, object, because the transitive verb must be followed by an object. Look at the next sentence. Qasim was laughing. Over here, Qasim is the subject, laughing is the verb, and the sentence is complete. This verb laughing does not need an object to make complete sense. Hence, it's an intransitive verb. It's an action word. Main verb shows the action of the subject, but it does not have an object. And the pattern of such sentences where the verb is an intransitive verb. It's a main verb, but an intransitive verb. The pattern of such sentences is SV. Look at the next example. Tehreem is a tall girl. This sentence is about Tehreem. Tehreem is the subject of the sentence. We don't have an action word here. We don't have a main verb or an action verb here. Is simply indicates the state of the subject. It's a linking verb. And after linking verb, we have just learnt, comes the subjective complement or just complement. And the pattern of such sentences where there is a linking verb followed by a complement, it must be followed by a complement. The pattern of such sentences is SVC. Every simple sentence in English language is one of the three patterns, SVO, SV, or SVC. You must develop an ability to analyze at least simple shorts and simple sentences in English language according to these basic patterns. If you can do that, you have learned a lot as a student. And now is the activity time. You will identify the given combinations of words as sentences or non-sentences. Wherever the combination of words makes complete sense, you will write the pattern of that sentence also. And wherever the sense is incomplete, wherever the combination of words is not a sentence, you will write incomplete sense or not a sentence in front of it. You can pause the video here. After attempting the activity, you'll match your answers with the following answer key. Take your time, attempt the activity, and then go for the answer key. And here is your answer key. I hope all your answers are correct. You must have done well. Keep comparing. Keep being happy. That's it. So take care. Allah Hafiz.